Have you heard the word artificial intelligence? Have you also heard it might take over humans? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing absolutely fine. Today I have with me Sahil. He is the CTO and co-founder of zaneai, who has been solving many interesting projects in the field of AI. Hi Sahil, welcome to my channel.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How have you been?
All good.
Great. So let me start by asking you the most basic question. What is AI in simple words?
So, artificial intelligence is a general term used to describe systems that can mimic and imitate human behavior. Over a period of time, AI can learn and improve itself based on the information that it sees.
Right. So just to add to this, I would like to ask you, why has AI become a buzzword among companies and brands these days?
AI these days is very powerful, even though it's still at a very early stage and it hasn't reached its full potential yet. The real reason why AI is a hot topic these days is that it is helping people in a way that is very impactful. There are two reasons to this. Uh, AI is very useful and is helping power many features and many useful features for products that you use every day. For example, right, if everyone uses a smartphone these days, it's the best example of a product that is loaded with AI. So think of it this way, right? Have you ever spelled something wrong? Autocorrect that you use for it, powered by AI. Have you needed to click a photo in low light on your phone? It's again AI powered image enhancement is inbuilt in the camera. Have you talked to someone with a lot of background noise at your end? Again, adaptive noise cancellation powered by AI. Similarly, Snapchat filters, right? If you look at those filters that draw cat ears on your face, again, that's computer vision coupled with AI. So let me ask you something, right? You plan on putting this podcast on YouTube as well as on Spotify, right?
Absolutely, I am, and we are so like going to be all over, right? Because AI is the right word.
Right. So just to put that in context, both YouTube as well as Spotify have very good recommendation systems that understand your current mood and your taste, and it recommends relevant videos or songs to you which are personalized and kind of handpicked for you. So this again is powered by AI. The other reason why you know why AI is so popular right now is because of the pandemic. We are in uncertain times. A lot of companies are looking to reduce dependency on humans, and they are looking to rely more heavily on automation, which is again aided by AI, where faster decision making can be of great value to companies.
Right. So does this brings me to another question. Will AI take over our jobs?
So that's very speculative, but it's a longer discussion and it's a very debatable topic. Let me break this down into two aspects. Like I said earlier, AI is still at a very early stage. Currently, AI systems are trained to do a very specific set of things, like recommending songs to you or sorting spam in your email inbox. These systems are fundamentally designed for a specific task, and they are only good at that task. So thoughts of AI becoming sentient and taking over humanity, at least in the current form, is a very far-fetched idea. But so past experience tells me that AI will not take over our jobs completely, but will only help us do them better. So if you remember back in the late 90s when there were a lot of concerns that IT will take away jobs from humans. Um, with time, we've seen that infotech has become a very important part and parcel of any job, right? Humans and IT systems coexist and they complement each other, and are very necessary for most job roles these days, just because of the way IT has kind of embedded itself into the society right now. The other aspect of it, the flip side of it, is that with time, as and when computing power increases and AI finds more mainstream applications, it will start getting more autonomy, and there is a small possibility of artificial general intelligence where AI systems start building other AI systems, and those AI systems built by AI that can mimic human behavior will get exponentially better at doing things than humans, of course. But again, that's very speculative and very far in the distant future.
Do we still have to fear that AI will take over humanity? Which I hope not, but what do you have to say about that?
Again, I hope not to. AI is good at looking at patterns that are hard for humans to perceive, but it completely lacks something that humans are very good at, and that's empathy. AI systems can mimic logical and abstract, decision making, but it's very hard for AI to truly mimic emotional intelligence and sensitivity. It's also very prone to bias. So what an AI knows depends completely on what it has seen and has been trained on. It has no way of telling right from wrong, telling what's politically incorrect or ethically incorrect, right? So, for example, in recent times, a very popular example of an unfortunate incident involving AI was where Google Photos AI misclassified dark skinned people as gorillas. And, so AI fails miserably where common sense plays a major role, or there needs to be some sort of emotional or social intelligence where humans will always do better than you. So talking about this, right? So if humans and AI systems can work well together in some cases as well, and in the longer run, like you see in IT health, humans do much better with a lot of things. AI will also help humanity achieve bigger heights. For example, in the field of medicine in recent times, AI is helping solve some very interesting problems. Just a couple of days ago, researchers announced a major breakthrough in structural biology thanks to AI. Um, AlphaFold, which is a product by Google, predicts 3D structures of protein chains, and scientists have been baffled by this problem of generating 3D structures of proteins for almost 50 years. And this AI was able to predict 20,000 new structures with a fairly high level of accuracy. This has major implications because this knowledge can help understand how proteins can be altered, controlled, or modified.
Right.
So very major things can be done with it.
Right. So, coming to an additional question to this, since you said in the medicine field, do they also have an impact on the forensics as well?
Absolutely. In fact, AI exists for looking at two-dimensional photos and generating three-dimensional visualizations and models for them. So this is actually being used to better examine X-rays in an interactive three-dimensional way, where especially in forensics, where it can help you understand impact injuries in a better way.
Right, right. This is so interesting, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what's coming up more. But coming to my last question before I let you go, please tell us what are you working on and what have you worked on that is the most, exciting and interesting for you as a creator, and something that we would love to hear about.
Definitely. So, okay. So let me talk about two of my most recent interesting projects. One for my personal use and one for what we are building at zaneai. As a CTO, I have to deal with a lot of emails and messages on professional social networking sites. I I think if I were to kind of read every message, respond to it would take up a lot of my time. So what I did was I extracted all of my emails from my inbox, um, from dating back to 2005. I trained AI to understand my thought process and write like me. So this AI is essentially trained to think and write and behave like me. So if I were to break down my emails, they are essentially of four types. The first is newsletters and spam, which my AI completely ignores. The second type of emails, and this is like a bulk of what I get, are from different representatives of IT companies selling me different solutions and products. I even get a lot of emails from people who sell used laptops, used printers, and whatnot. Right? So my AI has learned to recognize such emails as something which is not very relevant to me, but is something that I would politely, decline or just acknowledge and say that sorry, not interested. So my AI has learned to recognize such emails, and it sends out a polite refusal on my behalf by mimicking my style of writing. So, in the professional context, people do appreciate receiving responses, even if it's for a refusal. And my AI does exactly that. So that's one thing. But now the third type of emails are the ones that I deem as somewhat important, but not complete. So my AI reads such emails, understands the context of the email based on previous correspondence, and replies with a follow-up question to get the information that it thinks is missing in that email. Um, so again, this is based on my personal style of writing. So for someone reading that email, it's very hard to say if it's coming from an AI or if it's me writing that like for real.
Right.
Um,
Can it be?
the fourth type of
Wait, before you go
yeah.
ahead, I have to ask this. Will this not be scary for someone who does not understand this? I mean, imagine you're next to that person, and no, and AI is sending an email to them, and you don't even have the phone in your hand.
Isn't that cool?
That's kind of
But
scary, by the way, I must say.
that is that might freak some people out. But again, for the kind of use case that I just talked to you about, it's immensely useful because if on an average, right, I get around 80 to 90 emails a day. If I were to sit and read through all of them every day, I wouldn't have like any time left for myself, right? So that was the main motivation behind it, and very frankly, like this concept, it's been a popular idea in science fiction as well. So there was this episode in Black Mirror where people had this AI which mimicked their loved ones who had passed on. So yeah, but that's very dark. I am using it for a much more I don't know, professional, casual way.
And in fact, people are actually now in Japan, I believe, also are trying to do something very similar. And they tried something last year as well, I believe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a very popular concept in science fiction.
And
So, yeah,
reality is getting spookier.
it is. It is. So yeah, coming back to what I was talking about, the fourth kind of emails is the kind of emails that are actually relevant to me and are important to me. So the AI understands what the content of the email is and sorts out the emails that I should be looking at, and it's it kind of groups them together into a group that I should check manually. And these are emails that typically require me to respond with specific information which is not already there in my inbox or correspondence. So yeah, that's all in all, it's a fun project, I would say, that I created to help me use my time better. So yeah,
It sounds
then
like a lot of fun, I
it
think.
is.
But let's just hope it continues to help you personally. What's
And
happening
that
on the
it doesn't
professional
go.
front for the company?
So at zaneai, we are working on a mission to make life easier for people and for companies with the help of AI. So everyone has a lot of devices and gadgets lying around when all of them have a lot of buttons, symbols, error codes, whatnot. Right? So think of consumer electronics or even cars for that matter. Let me put this in the context of car. Right? So in a car, there are many buttons, indicators, warning lights, and different parts in general. Right? So we have built a solution that would let someone take out their smartphone and simply scan any part of the car with their camera. AI then recognizes what was scanned, it understands and contextualizes it. If it's something like a handbrake, it will tell you more about the correct operation and the common problems that you might face with it. Um, if you scan a warning light that indicates a minor problem that needs you to take some action, like fixing it, for fixing it rather, uh, it would show you the right steps to do it. So it could either be a set of images or a DIY video, like a small short video that would guide you on how to fix that problem. And again, in extreme cases, if you scan something which indicates a critical or a life threatening or a major failure, like say if some electronic component is failing or if there's potential mechanical damage to the car, um, these are things that you can't typically fix yourself. And in that case, the AI automatically alerts the car manufacturer's help service center and it sends out an SOS to them in case there's an emergency or, you know, or an accident or anything. Um, then it also sends diagnostic information to their technicians right away. So it helps their technicians get to your problem faster without having to waste time looking at each and everything, and it reduces the entire time to get your car fixed. So the idea is that you should be able to walk in. By the time you walk in, your job card would be ready. Your all your diagnostics will be with your technicians, and they can just have a look at it, fix whatever right away, and you're out of there in no time.
Okay, this conversation has been so interesting, and but by the end of it, I think I've come to still a question whether AI is a boon or a bane, but we'll find out with time. And thank you so much for being a part of this conversation and giving an insight into the world of AI, which was super, super knowledged. I will see
This
you
is
next
AI.
week, and thank you very much.